which does cause for too many people going to A&E is the fact that they can't see their local GP. And I had it last week, the resident came up to me and said they were quoted 6 weeks just to go and see their GP. And they said, well, do I try and book an emergency appointment or do I go to A&E? And she was told, well, I don't have any emergency appointments left for you, so the option's up to you. We haven't got the capacity. I mean, this is in Stubbington, where our GP surgery is, quite frankly, not fit for purpose anymore anyway. I go to the Old because it's better, that's why I was registered when I was born. But you have too many people going to a system which can't cope, and then go to another system, putting a greater pressure on that, which is probably even worse for you in the long run anyway. Expand on that?
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely is a problem. I think positively it's much less of a problem in our system than it is in other parts of the country. So particularly we have a more transient population. More of your inner cities of Portsmouth, Southamptons, Londons, the conurbations. It's a massive, massive problem of individuals even trying to go to their general practitioner for access to care. I think I can reference back, so it is a problem, but it's certainly significantly less than locally. And actually, when you look at one of the data sets talks about the number of people going to ED per 100,000 population, it's significantly lower, and that's a significant marker of the confidence of accessibility. There are some practices that we know do have some significant access problems. And the solution to that probably isn't trying to do more of the same. So driving a competitive strategy where you get into a bidding war for the one GP who qualifies to come and work across. If you wander into Gosport, I've got 3 sisters, they're all just coming up with GP training scheme, and I'm almost tempted to kind of sell them to the highest bidder. Yes. But actually, that's not a successful strategy because you get a winner or a loser. The model that we're adopting in the areas where we have the greatest pressure, Gosport, and we're exporting down the areas where we're experiencing the pressure, is to say, if you've got a limited doctor capacity, then use it more smartly and sensibly than you do at the moment. So the people who really need to see a very, very experienced doctor get to see the very, very experienced doctor. For those who want to have, so typically young professionals, you want advice, you actually, many people don't want to necessarily have to come to the surgery. They might want to have access through e-consultations, Skype consultations, self-management, and some of the most advanced systems that we come across in the US, about 30% of all business is self-service now. So the millennial generation actually want to pose a question by email and get a response typically back by email with professionals. So we are training now our clinicians to operate in a very, very different way to that we've traditionally played, which is take an appointment, take a seat, and we'll see when the doctor's ready. We're bringing in WebGP, which exactly does that, allow for self-service, allows people to both self-diagnose and then pose questions to the clinicians for what they think the treatment should be. We're using a range of other professionals, so if you've got lower back pain, tend to see a GP, physiotherapist trained in that is probably a better person to do a diagnostic and then a treatment and support program. If you've got a hot, sick child, if you've got, you know what it's like, you actually just want to see anybody to tell you that it's not meningitis, but it's just a temperature and they're okay. Well, actually, we've got paediatric nurse specialists who are ideally placed to do that diagnostic and treatment with the backup and support of experienced medical professionals. So the answer is we're having to change general practice rather than just make general practice bigger. It's about changing how we work, and that's breaking down a little bit about every practice having to do everything for everybody. And therefore we've moved all general practice onto the same information system. We are running now similar common telephony systems, so if someone phones a practice, then they can, in some cases, call in and they need urgent care, they can call into a single telephone number. So if I want to say I've got a hot, sick child that I need to be seen in the next few hours, and the big peaks are before school and after school on hot, sick kids, we know that we can cope with 30 children being seen on any given day in that clinic with that rapid response, and anyone phoning any practice in the area can say you can come to practice, or we can offer you this place, but we'll see you now, walk in, and I guarantee you'll get great service, and you'll even leave with a thermometer, because that's one of the things that you don't have at home. And those are some of the examples of how we're trying to change the way in which we're working, rather than just saying, let's try and recruit the next doctor who comes wandering into Fareham.
Although I would add that I agree with you, it is not acceptable that someone phones up and says, I've got an urgent problem, and the GP says, I've got capacity. That is not acceptable. And if that came across our desk, we would be looking at that as a major incident. There is also the issue with the building, and there are we were talking
plans
to, there are plans afoot, but there are difficulties as well.